So I covered SZA's album SOS about 2 months ago that if you haven't checked out, I highly advise if you want to check it out. I'll leave the description down below. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about SZA's 2017 album Control that came out of June of 9th of 2017. This album has generally been one of the best R&B albums at the time and still holds up to this day. With so many great tracks and repetitive hooks that get stuck in your head, this album has a lot to offer and is relatable in aspect. And there's a reason why she was signed with Top Dog Entertainment and why SOS took a 5 to 7 year launch till that album came out, and it has a lot to offer. There's so much reasons why she's just a good artist in general and why these albums do so well. Such relatable music and such great talent she has to offer. But anyways, like, subscribe. We're gonna check out this album. Follow all socials. And without further ado, let's go ahead and check out this album. Let's get it. So with this album, there has been a ton of work that has been put into this album. And I think with this album, I think SZA lets it explain by showing her lyrical abilities and her voice do the work, as she has so much passion when it comes to this album. Not only that, but she shows a lot of replay value in these tracks and catchy repetitive hooks and bridges that she has, such as tracks like The Weekend, Broken Clocks, and more. And with Control having this lifestyle she has from this album, not only has she gotten a couple of interlude outros that are quick to mention, such as Doves in the Wind and 20 Something, but also has features such as like Travis Scott and Kendrick Lamar on this, but also has some standout ones like James Fauntleroy. And these tracks have so much to offer regarding 2017 and just the track alone. Starting with the first track, Supermodel, talking about the insecurities and getting back at someone who did her wrong, with some chill instrumentals, with some drum beats near the end of the hook, and with some singing at the end. It's a great track. This album, for the most part, has a lot of chill instrumentals, but like I mentioned, SZA's voice has a lot of soul behind it and lets it talk about what is stated on the track and how she feels towards it. And with some relatable life she has in the past, it's definitely sort of a relatable project in that way, or track in general. But getting back into it, we have Love Galore featuring Travis Scott. This track pretty much talks about the rebirth of SZA's last relationship and putting her first into it. And with Travis Scott starting this track with the intro and then later having a verse with SZA singing in the background, this song is a really good one and is the start of a really good collab with Travis, as this is not the first time she has collabed with him, with the other track being Open Arms off of the SOS album. Next is Doves in the Sky featuring Kendrick Lamar, a very dirty track talking about sex and other things I'm not really going to address, but if you know, you know. And with Kendrick on this, a member of Top Dog Entertainment, and having a good ear in music, he delivers such a meaningful and speaking about the truth sort of verse he has, complementing SZA's energy and what she talks about in this track. Drew Barrymore has a sort of sober tone of hers, having the lyrics to be self-esteem, with some orchestra in the background around the track. Prom pretty much keeps an R&B tradition, but adds a little pop here and there, with her talking about changing and what's to look forward to when it comes to the future. And even the title being just called Prom, which can happen when teens are going through like life changes after prom and what's to come in the future afterwards. Next we have is The Weekend. This one's a pretty cool little song, you know what I'm saying, catchy choruses, and shows a lot more on the women's side of things, as she shows and talks about the women's side of positioning with someone, with a really nice music video attached to it. And not gonna lie, when they played the outro of this track, I legit thought that this was the intro to the next track, and I ain't gonna hold you. But anyways, we got Go Gina on track number 7. A nod and a great reference to a classic character off of Gina from Martin, classic show, where she states if the character Gina doesn't work so much and has a good time like her friends, then she would have had more fun and enjoyable life off of an interview that I saw. But Go Gina has, again, some catchy tunes and is another great track off the album. Next one we have is sorry about that. Next we have is Garden. Then this one has like a sort of expressiveness and vulnerability that she talks about and supporting of a relationship and seeing if it's worth it or not. Then we have Broken Clocks, another good one where pretty much, believe it or not, it's not just like a sort of like love song, but also kind of has experience in between into a love song, but also has like a work style into it. with verse 2 having a track where she talks about like both sides of it, with not only her work style but also in a relationship. Then getting on to the next track, we have Anything. This one pretty much is like has a theme of a fling that happens, but at the same time kind of questioning the legitimacy, with a sample track off of Spring Reprise from Donna Summers. And then I'm not going to talk much about the interlude being wavy, but with this interlude, pretty much it gets into it, shows the highlights of a relationship as well as the surface of struggles with some James into it. And then Normal Girl, having some vocals in the background while showing without a significant other, she'll grow like into be like a sort of normal girl, if that kind of makes sense. Then we have the last two of the track, Pretty Little Bird. This one, you know what I'm saying, has like speaks on like wanting to fly with someone, in spite the shit that she went through, is willing to want to be with that specific someone. Along with Isaiah having a nice verse with SZA vocals coming in soon after. And then the last track we get into is 20 Something, probably the most relatable on this album, having to do with a lot of issues with people that are in like their 20s, but also such as relatable topics that people go through. And it hopes that SZA will find and pray that someone will get out of it once they're in their 20s. And that pretty much sums it up. SZA has a lot to offer in this track, and as someone who kind of discovered her music from the track Normal Girl, I really enjoyed this album. This album has a lot of works for a while, I believe, and to see a lot of work, the ability that she puts into this album is really unreal. And just overall, the project is really, really good, and it still holds up to this day with a lot of people really enjoying this R&B sort of album, and it's really, really good. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If y'all liked it, feel me, like, subscribe, follow all the socials, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.